Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Chapter 18. Jai Chichidvilasha, O Govinda, Srinivasa, O embodiment of bliss, brother of the fallen, look to me. O Keshava, Keshi Mardana, Madhava, Madhusuna, O killer of Putana, Panduranga, consort of Rukmani. You know what I want. Is it necessary to speak it out? Purana said that you fulfill the desire of your devotees. So I beseech you to fulfill the wishes of this Daskanu, who is entirely yours only. There was a devotee of Shri Maharaj named Baijabai at Mandgaon near Kot. She was born in a family of Haldimali. Her father was Shivram and Bhulabai her mother. She was married in her childhood only. Everything happens as per one's destiny. Baija, having attained puberty, her father took her to her son-in-law's place. But it was of no use as he was found to be in utero. The fact hurt the parents of Baija, but looking to her young age, Bhulabai suggested that she be remarried to someone else. Shivram did not like the idea and said that the masculine nature at times gets active with the passage of time. So they decided to wait and keep Baija with her husband, expecting that proper medication might help revive his masculine character. Both of them then returned to Mangaon. Baija, with her age of 15 and 16, and though wheatish in color, had a youthful body. Her tall figure with beautiful eyes and a sharp nose had the power to attract any sexy person. Her husband's elder brother, enamored by her beauty, wanted to make love with her. He tried many ways to persuade her, saying that he be treated as a husband by her. He even promised to maintain her throughout his life. His all efforts to tempt her were wasted. On this background, Baija prayed, "O God, why are you troubling me like this? I worship your feet since my childhood. And is this the fruit that I am getting for my devotion to you? The man I married proved to be a no man, and I knew my fate. In a way it is good, as now I can fully devote myself at your feet. But my only request is that no other man should touch me." One night her husband's brother came to her to let her know his true intention. But Baija declined his advances by calling him a shameless person. She pointed out that an elder brother of her husband is like a father and thus should behave accordingly. But ignoring her remarks, he tried to catch a hold of her. Just then, he heard his elder son falling down from the first floor, which caused him a great wound on the forehead. Baija rushed and took the child in her lap and applied medicine. Then Baija told him to take this as a lesson, that it is not good to have a desire for other women. Looking to the wound of the child, he regretted his action and did not trouble Baija thereafter. Shivram then took his daughter to Mandgaon. Bhulabai suggested that her husband go and ask Shri Maharaj about the future of Baija. So both of them, along with their daughter Baija, went to Shegaon and prostrated before Shri Maharaj. They requested him to bless Baija with a child. Shri Maharaj smiled and said, "She is not destined to get any children. All men in the world are like a father to her, so it is better to forget about her marriage." Shivram was sorry to hear this from Shri Gajanan Maharaj. They returned to Madgaon. But Baija was extremely happy to know her future, and with his visit to Shegaon, she became a firm devotee of Shri Gajanan Maharaj. Baija started going to Shegaon regularly with Pundalik of Madgaon. Parents did not object to it, as they thought that these trips to Shegaon might help revive Baija's married life. But her going to Shegaon with Pundalik created doubts in the minds of people, and they even started spreading rumors that in the guise of Shegaon trips, Pundalik and Baija were satisfying their lust for each other. They further objected to it, saying that Baija was a Maratha and Pundalik was a Maratha and Baija belonged to the Mali community, and thus a great hue and cry was raised to break their association. But both of them were pure at heart. Bhulabai rebuked Baija for her frequently going to Pundalik, saying that young men and female came together only with physical attraction. She even advised Shivram to arrange her remarriage to a suitable boy of their community. Then she thought of taking Baija to Sri Vijay Maharaj to find out the reason for her association with Pundalik. She believed that saints know everything, and Sri Gajanan Maharaj was like a sandalwood, which can never emit bad smell. Bhulabai, Shivram, Baija, and Pundalik all went together to Shegaon and prostrated before Sri Gajanan Maharaj. Looking to Pundalik, Shri Maharaj said, Pundalika, Baija was your sister in the previous life, and so don't deny her affection, even if it becomes a matter of public criticism. Both of you together worship the Almighty God. Bhulabai, you should not obstruct or blame your daughter for what she is doing. She is a sister of Pundalik. Moreover, Baija is not destined to get any husband. She will remain a maid throughout her life. Like Janabai of Pandharpur. Janabai got Namdev as guru, and Baija has surrendered to me. So nobody should trouble my Janabai. Hearing these words, Shivram was overwhelmed with emotion and could not speak. Then they returned to Madgaon with Baija and thereafter never obstructed her for going to Shegam with Pundalik. Now I will tell you the story of how Shri Gajanan Maharaj always protects his devotees. There was one Dr. Bhaukavar in charge of the government hospital at Kamga. He got a nasty boil, and eminent doctors were brought from Buldana, Akola, and Amravati for its treatment. All attempts with medicines and even surgery failed to give him any relief. He was restlessly lying in bed due to unbearable pain. His elder brother was very much worried over the ailment of Bhau. Then there was no alternative but to remember the holy feet of Sri Gajanan Maharaj. Thinking so, Bhau, with folded hands, prayed to Sri Maharaj to come to his rescue and cure him of that ailment. It was about midnight with pitch darkness, and foxes were howling nearby, when a bullock cart with a hood above had a fine pair of bullocks came to the doctor's door. The doctor from his bed could see the cart coming and stopping at his door. A Brahmin got down from the cart and knocked at the door of the doctor's house. His brother opened the door and asked the purpose of his visit. The Brahmin said that his name was Gaja and he had come from Shegam with the Tirtha and the Angara for Bhaukavar. He further advised him to apply the Angara on the painful boil of Bhau and to put Tirtha in his mouth. Thus, giving these two things to Bhau's brother, the Brahmin went away, saying that he had no time to stay. Hearing this, Bhau immediately sent a man to call the person back, but could not get any trace of him nor the bullock cart. Then Bhau applied the Angara to the painful boil and it immediately burst, emitting out pus. In an hour all the pus passed away and Bhau got sound sleep. Subsequently, he was completely cured and went to Shegam to pay respects to Sri Gajanan Maharaj. Looking to Bhau, Sri Maharaj smilingly said, "That night you did not even give grass to my bullocks." Bhau understood that the nocturnal visitor with the Tirtha and Angara was Sri Gajanan Maharaj himself. He, then as a token of thanksgiving, fed all the people at Shegam. Once Sri Maharaj left for Pandharpur to meet God Vitthal on the bank of Chandrabhaga. There were many devotees with him. The government had arranged special trains for going to Pandharpur, as a lot of people were going there for the auspicious occasion of Asadi Ekadashi. Jagu, Abba Patil, Bapuna, and many others with Sri Gajanan Maharaj first went to Nagsi. There is an underground cave and a hillock at Nagsari, and as there are many natural springs in the places, the place was named as Nagsari. The great saint Sri Gomaji had attained communion with God Samadhi in that cave at Nagsari. Sri Gomaji Maharaj was the first guru of Mahadaji Patil, who had gotten blessings at his hands for the welfare and prosperity of the Patil dynasty. This is why the Patils of Shegam, while going to Pandharpur, first came to Nagsari to pay respects to Sri Gomaji Maharaj and then went ahead. With this tradition, they entrained in Nagsari for Pandharpur. Along with Hari Patil were Sri Maharaj, Bapuna, and about 50 other people. It was the 9th day of Asar Sudha, and thousands of Vadikas started reaching Pandharpur. The sky was cloudy and it was likely raining. Pandharpur appeared Vaikuntha on earth and was like a sea of humanity. All the space meant for going around the temple was full of devotees chanting Jai Jai Ramakrishna Hari. The whole atmosphere was charged with joy. Palanquins of saints, Nath Nimruti, Daneshwar Savata, Gora Kumbhar, Shri Tukoba Dehuka, Sopan Muktabai, Janardhan reached Pandharpur. The devotees threw a bukka in the air to offer respects to Sri Gajanan Maharaj, and the whole sky appeared full of bukka, spreading its fragrance all around. People threw tulsi and flowers and also on the palanquins. In such an atmosphere, Shri Maharaj reached Pandharpur and stayed in the house of Kukaji Patil, which is on the way of Pradakshina. There was a big crowd around the temple, and scores of police personnel were present to keep the crowd in order. On the day of Ekadashi, all the Shega people except Bapuna went to the temple with Hari Patil. Bapuna had gone to take bath, and so he was left back. On return from the bath, he learned that all had already gone to the temple. He stood and hurried to follow them. But due to the big crowd around the temple, the poor Bapuna could not get entry from anywhere. Helplessly, Bapuna in his mind prayed, O Vittala Rishikesha, why are you so much displeased with me? Why don't you allow me your darshan? You had gone to Aran to give darshan to Savatamali, like that. O Panduranga, come from the temple to meet me. Aran was 60 miles away. Now I'm here, just near the temple. People call you the helper of the helpless. Then why are you ignoring me? Thus he prayed, and at last disappointed, returned to Kukaji's house towards the evening. The whole day he had not taken any food, and the additional disappointment had made him pale and sunken. Such was his intense desire to meet Vittal, and his mind was continuously moving around the temple. All the people started laughing at Bapuna, saying that he was the most unfortunate person. They said that he had come to Pandharpur and must have gone around visiting stalls instead of going to the temple. Some said that he was a hypocrite and unfortunate. Others taunted him, saying that Bapuna knew all the Vedanta and so had no need to go to the temple. Vedantis believe that God is in their heart and not in stones. Only fools go to temple. Bapuna had his God standing for him on the road. They said that Bapuna, instead of coming to Pandharpur, should have called Vithoba at Shega. These Vedantis advise others without any experience, preach without practice. They do not understand that self-realization is possible only by worshipping visible God. Without childhood, how can one attain adulthood? Such were the taunts and criticism directed at Bapuna. Nobody protected him in this attack. He was just sitting quiet without taking any food. But Maharaj was looking at him and at everything that was happening there. God only comes to the rescue of poor and helpless people. Fortunate are those who get the association with the saint. Shri Maharaj said, Bapuna, don't worry, come on, I will show you Rukmini Ramana just now. Saying so, Shri Maharaj stood up, positioned his feet like Vithoba, put his hands on the waist. Bapuna saw him as Vithoba, with garlands of flowers and tulsi around his neck. He prostrated at his feet and looked up again, but now he saw Shri Gajanan Maharaj in the place of Vithoba. Bapuna was immensely happy for this darshan. When subsequently he went to the temple, he saw exactly the same idol as Shri Maharaj had shown him at Kukaji's Vara. Other people learned about the darshan that Bapuna got and requested Shri Maharaj to bless them also with the darshan of Vithoba. Shri Maharaj replied, first develop your mind like Bapuna, and then I will show you Vithoba. This darshan is not a commodity available in the market. It requires a pious mind to get such a darshan as Vithoba got. Look how Shri Maharaj showed Vithoba in reality to Bapuna at Pandharpur. It was because he was a real saint. There is no difference between God and saint. It is just like sugar and the sweetness which cannot be separated from each other. After taking prasad, all of them returned to Shegam. With the blessings of Vithoba, Bapuna got a son who grew up to be a very intelligent boy. Service to saints never goes waste. Since Bapuna got a son due to the blessing of Vithoba, he was named Namdev. A devotee from Kavate Bhadur, being from Vidarbha, launched at Kukaji's Vara. On the Vadashi day, Pandharpur was gripped in cholera. Scores of people were dying, and police and the advice of the officers asked people to quit Pandharpur immediately. They even drove away people forcibly. This devotee from Kavate Bhadur got cholera infection and was having vomitings and loose motions. All his strength was lost, and he became very weak. Nobody came to nurse or give him any medicine, nor to inform doctors out of the fear of police. They ran away, leaving him in the grip of death. People are your friends in your prosperity, and in the adversity they desert you. In such a situation, only gods and saints come to your help. Looking to the devotee Kavate Bahadur lying on the veranda, Sri Maharaj ask his people to take asked his people to take him with them. But they said, he is nearly dead, and if we try to help him, we too will be in difficulty. We have got about 50 people with us, and cholera is spreading like wildfire in Punjab. So under such a situation, it is not advisable to stay here even for a moment. Let us quit immediately. Shimara said that it was foolish for them to leave a brother from their land in such a condition. Then Sri Maharaj went and caught the hand of the devotee, and helping him sit up, said, "Come on, get up and let's go to Vidarbha." The devotee said, "How can I go to Vidarbha? I'm nearing death and have no relations on my side." Shimara said, "Don't get scared like this. The danger to your life is averted." Saying so, Shimara put his hand on the head of the devotee. By the touch, his motions and vomiting stopped immediately, and he felt strength enough to stand up. How can death take away a man who is in the hands of a saint? Within an hour he was fully recovered and returned home along with the other people. Having been rescued from the grip of death, he was happy and prostrated again and again before Sri Maharaj. He said, "Swamiji, you brought me back from the jaws of death." Looking to this miracle, the devotees cheered Jai to Sri Maharaj. Thus all the people who had gone to Punjapur with Sri Maharaj returned to Shegaon safely. A very strict orthodox Brahmin first came to Shegaon for the darshan of Sri Maharaj. Having heard about the greatness of Sri Maharaj, he had come from a very distant place. Being a strict orthodox, he did not tolerate anybody to even touch him. And so after looking to Sri Maharaj, he regretted for having come at all from that distance to meet him. He thought that Sri Maharaj was a mad person and was behaving contrary to the established religious practice, and therefore did not like people worshiping such a mad person. In the month, he saw a dead dog just on his way to the well, where he used to go to fetch water. He therefore could not go, and so murmured, "Nobody's cared to move this dead dog, and they call this ganja smoker a Maharaj. I'm a fool to have come here for a darshan." Shri Maharaj heard it and went to the Brahmin and said, "Don't have any doubts, the dog is not dead. Really go ahead with your puja." The Brahmin angrily replied, "I'm not mad like you. The dog is dead and its body has been lying there since an hour, but nobody cared to remove it." Shri Maharaj said, "We are ignorant as blood. We have no knowledge like you, but don't worry, take the pitcher and follow me to the well for water." Saying so, Shri Maharaj came to the dog and touched it with his feet. Suddenly the dog stood up. The miracle made the Brahmin dumbfounded. He realized the greatness of Sri Maharaj and regretted for having criticized him. Prostrating at his feet, the Brahmin begged to be pardoned for his misbehavior. The same day, he served food to all the people at Shega. And with doubts removed, fully surrendered before Shri Gajanan Maharaj. And after taking prasad, he went back with firm conviction that Shri Gajanan Maharaj was God himself. May this Gajanan Vijay epic written by Das Guru guide the devotees to remain on the right path. This is the only desire of Das Guru. Shubham Bhavatu Shri Harihara Paramastu. Here in chapter 18, Swami Samarsadguna Shri Gajanan Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Gajanan.